welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, federal government moves to avert another fuel crisis in the country, opens dialogue with leaders of oil workers' unions in Abuja. Trial of Senate President and his deputy over forgery allegations postponed to September the 28th as FCT High Court proceeds on recess. Nurses at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital protest alleged kidnapping of colleague. And UK Home Secretary Theresa May to become Prime Minister as David Cameron prepares to bow out this week.
And on business news tonight, International Monetary Fund says Nigeria's economy will probably contract the entire 2016 fiscal year.
And in sports news, jubilant fans troop out in Lisbon to celebrate Portugal's historic triumph at the European Championships in France.
I'm Gloria Umezoke, and from Abuja, Federal Capital Territory Police Command gives an update on the investigation into the murder of a woman preacher in Abuja.
It appears talks aimed at ending the ongoing industrial action by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasin, may be yielding some positive results. Now, this comes as the presidents of both Pengasin and Nupeng say discussions so far have been satisfactory, although the key issue of redundancy in the sector is to be addressed at a separate meeting tomorrow with the Minister of Labour and International Oil Companies. Meanwhile, the president of Pengasin, Mr. Francis Johnson, says the action which the oil workers began last week continues until all the issues raised are fully addressed. Our correspondent Omelogo Nadi reports.
5 days after the initial meeting was scheduled to hold, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasin, and Nupeng have opened discussions with the Ministers of Labour and Petroleum Resources to address issues in the oil and gas sector, key among them collective bargaining and staff redundancy. Rising from the meeting, which lasted over 6 hours, the two ministers told journalists that all parties are satisfied with discussions, but the issue in terms of employment remains outstanding.
The meetings were collaborative, they were deliberate, they were frank, and they were solution-seeking. And on most of the key areas, I think we had a good collaborative landing. They will speak for themselves.
We only have one matter outstanding, and that matter will be addressed tomorrow because the JVCs, the IOCs are not here. A lot of the companies have undertaken by their own allegation unfair labor practices.
The presidents of the unions are happy with ongoing discussions, but the strike action remains until the executive body takes a decision.
If a National Executive Council is meeting tomorrow, that means the strike cannot be called off. It still continue.
Are you close to doing that?
The NEC members are on their way and they are coming to Abuja, hopefully today. So tomorrow, after the meeting, we're going to call our NEC meeting and we'll go ahead.
We've said let's sit down, let's look at issues together and address them properly. I believe today's meeting is just the beginning of a roadmap into resolving so many issues in the oil and gas sector.
The meeting will continue at the Ministry of Labour, at which the ministry is expected to hold talks with international oil companies and the Oil Workers Union. Omelogo Nadi, Channels Television News.
A Federal Capital Territory High Court sitting in the Jabi area of the nation's capital has adjourned the forgery trial brought against the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, his deputy, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, the former clerk of the National Assembly, Salisu Mekashwa, and the current deputy clerk of the National Assembly, Mr. Benedict Ifeturi. Although the accused persons were in court for the commencement of hearing in the case which was fixed for today, the court registrar informed parties that the court is on vacation and the case will be adjourned. Speaking to journalists shortly after the adjournment, counsel to the Senate President and the prosecution both said they were ready for trial but would yield to the orders of the court.
The courts are on vacation and the vacation started today. And when the courts are on recess, except for urgent matters that normally will be entertained by the vacation judge. So this case does not fall into that category, and that is why it has to be adjourned. Even today we are ready. But unfortunately, the courts have gone on recess. So, and there's nothing we can do about it. As you can see that both the Senate President and his deputy, as well as the former clerk, and then the fourth accused, all the accused persons, they are present, ready for their trial.
Because the court is on vacation, they have started their vacation now, and the judge cannot sit on any case since they have started their vacation. It's not permissible for a court to sit during vacation, except the vacation, the judge. So that's why we came in, we took dates and everybody left. We had our witnesses in court, we could have started.
The federal government says it's concluded plans to disburse $1.5 million each to the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory for the financing of the primary health care system. The Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, made the declaration at the presentation of the National Health Care Plan to officials of the World Health Organization in Abuja. According to him, neglect of the primary health care system is one major problem that must be addressed.
Seated, please.
It's a meeting between the Ministry of Health and officials of the World Health Organization. The aim of the meeting is to present the National Health Agenda to the World Health Organization and solicit its financial and technical support.
Specifically at this very meeting, the health agenda of the present administration will be presented by the Honorable Minister of Health for her esteemed support. This therefore underscores the need for your continued support and collaboration. We will eagerly look forward to this.
The Minister of Health remarked that the neglect of the primary health care system is a major challenge in the sector. He, however, outlined government's plan to revitalize the sector, including cash disbursements to states to finance primary health care.
This week, we will be disbursing some funds to states under the Save 1 Million Life Initiative. It's a $500 million support from World Bank. And what we're asking the states to do is to use these resources to upgrade their primary care facilities. And we think this will go a long way to improve the state of things.
The WHO Regional Director for Africa assures government of their support. She also urges government to encourage healthcare practitioners stay in communities where primary healthcare facilities are situated.
So I assure you of our firm support. One of the members of my team, Dr. Martin Ekeke, is a leader in our work on health systems. So we are planning for Martin to stay behind when I unfortunately have to leave, so that it's possible to have some more detailed discussions in terms of what WHO Afro can provide as support to this agenda. We do acknowledge that sometimes in some of the remote areas, the facilities are not there for people to be at their duty station with their families. The housing, the electricity, the basic needs for having a reasonable quality of life are not in place. And I'm quite sure that these are some of the aspects that you'll be looking at.
Although the burden of preventable diseases is heavier in rural communities, the health minister says only 20% of Nigeria's 30,000 primary healthcare facilities are working.
Let's stay with health matters now. Nurses at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital are appealing to the government to provide them with enough security to carry out their duties. The nurses made the appeal while protesting against the abduction of their colleague, Mrs. Patricia Okaka, a chief nursing officer who was kidnapped last week Thursday in Benin City, the Edo State capital.
For the nurses at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital in Benin City, the Edo State capital, the latest news of the kidnap of another colleague, Mrs. Patricia Okaka, a chief nursing officer, is one too many in recent times, and therefore embarked on this march within the premises of the hospital to call for help for their colleague, who had been abducted since Thursday last week.
All we are saying, I beg,
her services are very, very important in this hospital because she works in a place where we take care of delivered women and newborn babies. They're already missing her services right now. For the past 5 days, she has been captured. We don't know the place, we don't know her whereabouts, and she's really missed by the hospital nurses and entire workers in the hospital. Please, we are begging, we are pleading. Anywhere she is, we cannot do it ourselves. We want them to release her. Anyhow they are going to release her, we don't want to know. But her release is very important to the hospital.
The chairman of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, UPTH branch, Mr. Augustine Osigbeme, calls on the government and security agencies to do something about the trend of kidnapping of nurses.
There is insecurity everywhere. Our nurse was kidnapped last month. Another nurse has been kidnapped again this month. And this is unfair. We are the one who pay the taxes. We are the one who do the work. We are the one who make the money for the nation to run. And yet we cannot be protected in our own country. We cannot be protected in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night. You are sleeping in the night, you are afraid. You are walking on the street in the afternoon, you are afraid.
The nurses are urging the government to provide them with more security in order for them to carry out their service delivery to members of the public.
The newly inaugurated management team of the Nigeria Police Force has been charged to remain focused on providing leadership that will enhance effective policing in the country. Speaking in Abuja while decorating newly promoted Deputy Inspectors General of Police, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Mr. Ibrahim Idris, urged the officers and men to be responsive to the needs of the members of the society. The police chief also advised policemen to perform their statutory roles with integrity.
Senior police officers, friends and associates of newly promoted Deputy Inspectors General of Police at the force headquarters to witness the decoration of new police management team. One after the other, the Acting Inspector General of Police decorates the new officers. He outlines his vision for the police.
Our focus must always be on countering organized crime such as armed robbery, kidnapping, murder, corruption, communal clashes, politically motivated crimes, and the farmers' pastoralist crisis. We cannot guarantee success in our mandate if we fail to build fruitful partnership with civilian population.
A retired Inspector General of Police and Chairman Police Service Commission comments on the recent retirement of 21 officers who are senior to the current Inspector General, while the Minister of Interior advises the new police boss to remain focused on his assignment.
Suleiman Abba, if you know, so he came in as an AIG. These officers were retired. I came in as a DIG, so he didn't have much retirement. So I want to say because people with the good value, great publications, side talks, and open talks about retirement of officers, I think this should be left to rest.
I want to also draw your attention to the fact that while you are doing your job, always remember the three focused areas of the government. That is enhancing security, revitalizing economy, and tackling corruption. You have roles to play in all three.
The expectations are
"Do not give up on me" concerning finding the Chibok girls, and those are the words from the presidency. And this comes as the Bring Back Our Girls group allegedly claims in a recent statement that President Muhammadu Buhari has broken all promises made to the group. The presidency, in its statement, says it's appealing to the officials and members of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign group not to waver in their support for the government in the war against terrorism and in the ongoing efforts to free all Nigerian citizens taken captive by the Boko Haram terrorist group. The statement reads, quote, "The past year of this administration has seen the Nigerian military step up bombardment of the Sambisa forest, a stronghold of the Boko Haram terrorist group, leading to the capture of hundreds of insurgents," end of quote. It says the presidency is open to renewed cooperation with the BBOG group, international bodies, religious groups, social workers and all others who are assisting in the field to ensure that those who have so far been rescued from captivity are given the support they need to make a full recovery. In part 2, after the break, an update on the killing of a mother of 7 in an FCT community. That's in a moment. Do join us again.